If an ad group has 2 or more ads in it, then Analysis will automatically create an ad test, and then we'll monitor the test, and then when you have statistically significant results, we'll automatically show you. So if you go to Ad Test, Single Ad Group Tests, Automated Tests, this is where you'll find these automated winners. Now you'll see a potential performance boost. So what we look at is if the loser ad had not run for the past month, what would the data have been? So for instance, in the demo account for CTR tests, there are 34 losers, and if those 34 losers had been paused, then the account would have had 4,500 more clicks and 350 more conversions. There are 32 ads that are cost per conversion losers. Now, if those hadn't been running, there'd been 1,000 less clicks, but 153 more conversions, and the CPA would have gone down by almost £2. So this will give you an idea of projection possibilities if your upcoming 30 days is similar to the past 30 days. You can pause every loser at once, or we can start looking into each individual ad test. So with the ad tests, first we have the ad test settings. This is the minimum amount of data that an ad must have before we show results. So if you have an account with a lot of traffic, you might set your minimums at higher impressions. For brand terms, you may use higher confidence levels. By default, we start with low numbers so you can always raise it. It's suggested you leave these alone to start to get an idea of when you take action, and then set these based upon how you take action. Now you can override these by individual campaign as well. And then we have the metrics that you're going to see results by. Click-through rate, conversion per impression, cost per conversion value over cost, which is ROAS, and conversion value over impression, or revenue per impression. If you don't want any one of these, you can just uncheck them, and you can also override these by campaign. So the next will show you how many winners and losers you have. Now it doesn't matter how many ad groups you have, we're only showing areas where you have action to take. So you could have thousands of ad groups, but if only 39 have an action, we'll show 39. You can then see the campaign, the ad group, number of ads being tested, the date range. By default, Analysis tracks what date ranges your ads are enabled and only runs tests when those ads were enabled and competed against each other. So if you have an ad group with 2 ads and they've been running for 30 days, and then you add a new ad to the ad group, that new ad has not been competing for 30 days. So then we'll restart that date range. And then each of the metrics and their confidence values, and then how many clicks, impressions, conversions, so forth you have. Now you can order these by clicks or impressions or however you want to order them. And then when we click into an ad group, we can go back and forth based upon the ordering we did at the higher level, impressions, clicks, whatever. And so you'll see your ad, the ad type, the enabled date, so when the ad was initially created, and then other metrics for the ad. And then you'll see your test data. So you'll see your confidence factors, 99, 95, 90, 85, 80. If it's a winner, it'll be in green. If it is statistically significant information for that metric, it'll be in yellow. And then if it's a loser by that metric, it'll be in red. So then from here, you can enable ads, you can pause ads, you can make notes for your ads. You can see performance projections for each individual ad metric. If you want to see additional information, then you can look at additional information, which gets into things from Google Analytics if your Google Analytics data is being imported into your Google Ads data. You can see the keywords in the ad group, and then you can easily create a new ad as well. Now, with the ads, when you create them, you can use ad templates or draft ads, both of which we'll cover later. And then as you create them, you can also add labels, check for duplicate content, and so forth. Now, with analysis, when you take action in the system, you say, I want to pause this loser ad. We automatically save a snapshot of the data. So that way, by ad group, or even for all your ad tests, you'll see archived test results. So you can always look back at your information. Now, if you have a test that you want to look at, but you don't want to take action yet, you can mark it as analyzed. And when we go back, you'll see the analyzed ones are in green, so you know you've looked at that one. If you have a test result you want to save a copy of, you can just select it and archive it, and then in the archive test results, we will see here's the test that we were just saving, these two particular tests from today. So you can always look through your previous test results. If you have notes you want to make for ad testing, you can take notes. If you don't want to see an ad test result, you can delete it, and you can download your information. So the automated tests always use a common date range when all the ads competed. If you just want to see information, you want to just see the last 60 days of information, you want to see information that's lower than what your current ad testing thresholds are, then you can use manual ad tests. So if you choose a date range in a manual ad test, then we're not going to look at the common date range when all the ads competed. We're just going to look at the date range you selected. And then you can run those ad tests. You can even see results with less than 8% confidence. And again, take the same type of action going through your results. And then lastly, we have auto pause. With auto pause, you can select ad groups where you want your ads to be automatically paused based upon certain criteria. And you could filter down to decide, I only want it in this campaign before you select them. And then you can enable auto pause and choose conditions where you may only want auto pause to work if there's at least 3 ads in an ad group and you have a loser by conversion per impression, and it's at least 95% confident and there are 1,000 impressions. You get to choose exactly criteria. And then when you save this, auto pause will be enabled, which means if an ad test hits this criteria, the loser ad will automatically be paused. So then with these, you can also create draft ads. So what draft ads are ads that sit in an invisible queue. If an ad is auto-paused and there's a draft ad in the ad group, then the draft ad will automatically get pushed live in the ad group. Now, because you can make the draft ads at an account level, a campaign level, or an ad group level, and sort of push them down to the lower levels, we automatically inherit the final URL from the ad being paused, so that the final URL is always the same as what was paused. So that way, if you make a campaign level draft ad and push it to hundreds of ad groups, that final URL still remains relevant. And then you can write some text in certain areas of things you might want to test, or you can just inherit data in other places. And then once you create the draft ads, then you can see how many draft ads are in the queue for that particular ad group. And then you can see if you have auto pause enabled or not enabled, how many ads must be left running before auto pause is turned on, and then additional metrics. So your ad test, single ad group test, automated daily test are ad tests that are automatically created if an ad group has 2 or more ads that compete. And then you can take action across your ad test by pausing losers, creating new ads. You can manually overwrite common date ranges or ad testing settings. You can view your history of ad test, and then you can enable auto pause for losers, and then set up draft ads that get automatically created. So by working through this workflow, you can make sure that you're always running ad tests and that your losers are getting paused and your best ads are getting the most impressions to make your account more profitable.